Well, good day to everybody out there. What's cooking out there, Canton? I'm your host chef today, Chef Ramon Herrera. It's my wife, the other Chef Herrera here. This is Chef Terry Herrera. And we're going to be doing something rather unique today. Pasta. You know, if you go into every culture, you'll find some form of pasta everywhere. If you go to Asia, Europe, United States, what have you. Well, the pasta that we're doing today, the dish is known as pasta carbonara. And I've seen this done many ways, but this is probably one of the quickest ways that we can do it. Now, pasta carbonara is basically with bacon, Parmesan cheese. With mine, you know, we put some chives in there, we have some olive oil and some heavy cream, and we're going to be using these eggs today. If I can get a shorter container of this, please. Thank you, ma'am. And before I get into this, I have to tell you, and if you meet us up into the farmer's market pretty soon, you're going to find there's a big difference in between cooking dry pasta and cooking with fresh pasta. Both have their advantages, believe it or not. Both have their disadvantages. Dry pasta is relatively inexpensive. Okay, it could last a long time on your shelf. Not to mention, it takes a little bit longer to cook, but it's a little bit safer to cook. Now, we're going to be doing something rather different today. We're going to be working with fresh pasta. Now, fresh pasta, the advantages we have with fresh pasta is, well, I'm just going to be honest with you. It tastes better. It's a labor of love. It's great fun for the kids. And the fresh pasta that we're doing is not really, it's not an Italian pasta that we're doing today. We're actually working with a different type of pasta dough known as the French pasta dough, which is very different. And basically, it's 3 egg yolks, 1 egg, milk, 2 teaspoons of milk, olive oil, and regular flour. Now, once you get all of that into the bowl, you want to go on ahead and add your flour in afterward, about 8 ounces of flour, and you want to stir it in little by little until you come up with this. Now, this is relatively tacky, not really sticky, but you don't want it too dry. And the best part you can use with this and having the kids involved is working out all of your anger. Now, before we get into anything else, I want to introduce you to 2 more ingredients. We're going to be using our fresh garlic, of course, and we're also going to be using a little something that not a lot of people are very familiar with, and this is called chicken base. Now, chicken base is essentially a paste or a bouillon type paste. There's a very concentrated characteristic of that item. I mean, you have chicken base out there, you have beef base, pork base, clam base, pizza base, vegetable base, mushroom base. I can go on and on and on. Now, you really don't find them in the grocery stores too much. So how do you find something like that? Well, if you go into your local grocery stores, they actually have something called chicken stock pot, or pot stock is what they call it. And basically, it's a reduced essence of chicken flavoring. It's very jelly-like in its consistency. And basically, what we're going to do with this, we're going to be adding it to our water. But I don't want to get into that yet. I'm getting a little far ahead of myself. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off with semolina flour. Now, I dust this with semolina flour. I don't mix it with semolina flour, but I dust it with semolina flour, basically because semolina flour has a very nice shiny characteristic to it. Now, if you've never dealt with semolina flour, it's a little more expensive than your regular flour is. And the ending result, your pasta dries out a lot quicker. Oh man, fresh pasta, it really is something to die for, folks. I mean, the taste of it is just incredible. Well, wait a minute, chef, you said there's a advantage and disadvantage to pastas. Well, actually, there is a disadvantage to cooking fresh pasta. Number one, although fresh pasta tastes incredible, it doesn't have the longest shelf life. So I wouldn't recommend going back to it 3-4 days later and saying, you know, I should microwave this over. And no, I wouldn't do that. And besides, fresh pasta is made from eggs, egg yolks, and whole eggs. And there's a good chance that if you're not respecting sanitation well enough, there's a good reason, there's a good way to get sick off of something like that. So you really want to be careful how you handle this. Another thing, you probably noticed some of the toys that we're using today, we're using these pasta rollers and cutters. Now, the ones that I have right now, this is a fettuccine cutter. Now, I know the recipe that we're going to be having is going to be spaghetti carbonara, But this one right here cuts a little bit faster, and it actually looks a lot better once you get done with it. And there are all kinds of pasta cutters out there that are on the market that you can order online. Now, let's have a little fun. As we're introduced to our machine, you're going to notice that there's a knob. It controls the thickness. The 7 is the widest one. So the lower the number, the more narrow the rollers will get. So we want to go on ahead, put that on high. Okay, and we want to fold that. Go through it again. And you basically want to be very, very careful while you're dusting at the same time. And we want to give it one more fold. It's a lot of fun. Mucho, mucho fun here, guys. And we're going to do it once again. We're going to roll it through once. If you could put that all the way up on high speed, please, ma'am. Thank you. And what you want to do, yeah, lower it down just a little, just a tad. There you go. Perfect. Okay, we're going to get more of that pasta in there. And you want it to end up coming out very long, you know, like I'm sticking my tongue out at you, okay? Yeah. So we're going to go through that. We want to fold that twice, just like so. We want to give it at least about 3 passes through the roller. And you could actually feel it getting a little bit more sticky. And as we're rolling it little by little, as we're rolling it more, you're going to notice that the color is actually changing from this. Okay, and we're going to go with our last one here. We're going to pass that through twice. There we go. And this actually looks like it takes a long time, but it's actually very quick. If you have your timing and your organization really well, this can actually turn out to be a very, very short project. So now we're going to fold our pastas. And we're going to start with number 1 right over here. And we're going to take it and we're going to go down to number 6. And we're just going to flatten it out a little bit. And this time we're only going to pass it through twice. And we can already see the color changing on the pasta. I'm going to flatten that out with your fingers a little bit. There we go. Oh man, that is gorgeous. So much fun. So much fun to have. There's only so much in life that you can get away with, you know? And we're going to go one more time. 3 passes. Usually you could have somebody on the other end feeding you while you're rolling this bad boy. Okay? And we're going to lay it down right over here and just sprinkle just a little dusting of semolina. And we're going to get our next one. Yeah, and you want to work them in succession. You don't really want to work them, you know, randomly. If you do, you could actually overwork the pasta, and trust me guys, that is not good. So we're going to roll this bad boy right through just like so. This feels a little sticky, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to treat it to a little semolina flour bath here. And in a sense, when you're rolling, you're actually re-kneading the pasta and working it over and over again. And we're going to go with our last one. Okay. And it looks like I'm using a lot of flour on this, but actually I'm not. Because this flour is going to be absorbed into our pasta dough. So I'm going to go maybe about 2 more times. Very good. Very good. And very good. All right, so now we're going to go down to number 4. I'm going to lay this guy right over here. Some people actually sell pasta trees. Pasta trees are really nice to use. I don't use them personally because I go through these things so quickly. But pasta trees are really just a straight stalk, and they have some wooden dowels on the side. And they actually they air dry the pasta a little bit and develops a crust. This enables it to be cut a little bit more cleanly. But with the speed that we're doing this today, we will not be needing no such thing. Okay, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3 on each one. Okay. And one more time. Whoops. Don't want to make a mess here. Get plenty of it on there. Okay, so now we're gonna go one. Come on, you. Whoop, almost got my glove. And be careful that when you're feeding this thing, you always aim towards the center. Always aiming towards the center. And we're gonna go one more pass. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Here we go. All right. You know what you can do for me? You could take these two right here, and you could put them right beside the bowl right there, so I could have a little bit of room to work with here. There we go. 2. Okay, so what you have right there is number 2. Yeah, make sure you try and lay them out flat so they don't stick to each other. Okay, hold on. I'm going to go through number 1. And we're going down to hold on one second. Ah, there we go. So we're going to go to number 3. There we go. Oh, nice. Nice, 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 nice. I'll get this one. Okay. And I like to leave them nice and long. It just makes it a little bit more manageable to deal with. Okay, so we're going to get number 2. Can I go one more without shaking the table up? No, I better not. Yeah, I don't think I should. You're right. Okay, 2. And we're going to go with one more press, then we're going to change to our cutters. As I said, well, do I really need a machine to do all this? No, you really don't, but it is a lot of fun. And you can actually roll them out by hand, and then as you flour them, you can go on ahead and cut the strands out for yourself, and that actually works out just as well. Okay, so we're going to flour that just a bit. Okay, we're going to go on ahead with this one. There we go. And we're going to do one more roll. Now what's going to happen once we cut our pasta noodles, once we cut our shapes out of this, we're going to go on ahead and start on our carbonara sauce, but we're going to set it off to the side. We're going to let that rest just a bit. Okay, so we're going to have this one out here just like so. And we're going to roll this over in the semolina just a bit. Hopefully I don't get, you want all your work to stay on the table, not the floor. Okay, so once more with the roller, just to go through. 2, 3, and we're going to go with one last roll. And the last roll we're only going to do twice. Okay, so let me get number 1. Again, you want to do this in succession. If you don't, the pasta can actually tear itself apart. And you don't want to do that after all the hard work you've done. So once more, what we're going to do, a little bit of the flour on both sides. Get it nice and floured so it doesn't stick so much. And there we go with our last cut. I'm going to go 2. There's number 1. There we go. And we're going to get number 2. It's like the circus here. Look at that. Da, 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 da. You want to hold that edge nice and taut. I'm going to go one roll through this. I usually do 2, but I don't want to use up too much of your time today. And we're going to go on ahead with number 3, which has been nice and floured. Okay, we'll give it one nice roll, so that's number 3. And lastly, we will do number 4. And if you could do me a favor, if you could hold that right at the edge right there so I can get, no, this one right here. There we go. Thank you. Yeah. And we're going to go on ahead with our last one. That's good. Again, you always want to aim towards that center. And now that we have that done, we're going to lay our pasta out. We're going to let that rest and dry just a little bit while I tell you about the next one we're going to deal with. Now, I'm going to loosen this up. This can go right into the purple cabinet right over there. We're going to go with this one real quick, just like so. And there's a little locking fit as far as the KitchenAid is concerned, or any other commercial type mixer that you're going to have. You're going to have like that little square shaped lock that's in there. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off with number 1. This is my favorite part right here. And I'm going to tell my wife here, once I get these through, what you want to do is just kind of take a pinch once they get into the bowl and just dust them a little bit, you know, so they don't stick. So aim towards your center. Hold on. All right. Okay, go ahead and dust me. Nice liberal coating. That's good right there. That's fantastic. Thank you, ma'am. So we're going to air it out just a bit. And we're just going to lay it down. Just like that. Then we're going to take number 2. Come on, you. Don't fight me here. I always win. And again, always aim towards that center. There we go. I usually go at a much faster speed, but for today's demonstration, I don't think that would be a very good idea. Okay, there you go, right over here. Flour me, please. Nice liberal amount. There we go. And again, you know, you usually put that onto a pasta tree, what have you. Okay, and we're going to lay that portion right over here. Now, be careful when you're dealing with this. You don't want this to stick all together, which is why you kind of have to work a little fast here. And then next, our second to last one. And we're going to go with this one next. I'm just going to take aim here. And we're going to lay these down right over here. And my wonderful wife, who always has my back, is going to give that a quick dusting. And while I'm off camera, we're just going to take this time to take our little machine down here. Oh, just to give ourselves a little bit of room. Now, next, the carbonara. Now, when you make carbonara, okay, a lot of people, they actually saute the carbonara afterward. I don't believe in doing such things, you know. So what I'd like to do is to go on ahead and take my pasta, or rather, should I say, start with the eggs. Duh, come on, chef, get your act together. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our egg, and you always want to slam it onto a flat surface, crack it. Some people pour egg to eggshell. I don't do that. So we're going to go with 4. 1. A little bit more water, I think. Yeah. 2. Oh, what about the whites? What are you going to do with the whites? Well, later on, we'll have another little demonstration. I'll show you how to make marshmallows out of the egg whites. Actually, that's a lot of fun. Kids love it. Okay, 3. Just a little bit of water in there, that's all. Man, that thing really cooks. That should do it. Okay, so we're going to go on ahead with our last egg white, and we're going to throw it right in there, and I'm going to change gloves just for a second, and take a little bit of time to clean up as you go along, as usual. Now, when you clean up, wash, rinse, sanitize. Soapy water, hot rinse water, and then go on ahead and follow up with what I call sanitizer. And sanitizer basically is, to every gallon of water, probably a drop or 2 of bleach. You really don't need like a whole cap full. Other than that, they do sell sanitizers, surface sanitizers in the store. Sorry about that. Ugh, getting a little tongue-tied there. So putting a little bit more water in there, we want that to get back to a boil. So while that's going, and while this is all resting, which looks absolutely wonderful, we're going to go on ahead and we're going to throw in, excuse me, our, oh my, these are very tough to get on here. So we're going to go on ahead and put in our heavy cream. Heavy cream, also known as heavy whipping cream. Excuse me, sorry. No different from making Cool Whip. Okay, can I have a fork, please? And of course, you can use a wire whip. Fork works just as well. If not, use two. And what's the biggest difference? What do you mean? What's the definition of heavy whipping cream? What are you talking about, Chef? What do you mean? Well, heavy whipping cream has a much thicker viscosity, if you will. It has a thicker characteristic to it than regular milk will. And it's kind of funny, but if you keep whipping it over and over again with a wire whip, you'll actually get Cool Whip, basically. You know, just add a little sugar and that's all there is to it. Now, for me, I love using just the black peppercorns. I love using this in sauces. Why? They provide a richer flavor. Oh, that is beautiful. A richer flavor, and they actually cook things down quite a bit. Now, before I get to the water, one thing I need to tell you, your toys, okay? One of the things you might want to keep on hand is a pasta spoon, okay? Which is acting like a set of fingers already, which gently tosses the pasta around. The water. Before we get started with the water, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go on ahead. May I have a spoon or a fork, please? Thank you. And we're gonna take this chicken base, we're gonna put a little bit in there, about a tablespoon's worth. We're gonna mix that around. And why am I doing that? Well, I'm doing that to add more flavor to the water, okay? And you have to understand, when you're working with fresh pastas, you're working with a lot of starch that could take away from the main flavor. Next, what we want to do is add in some salt. And I'm gonna say maybe a good tablespoon's worth of salt. You wanna salt that water up quite a bit. Salt, sodium chloride also allows that when your water hits that 212, which is the boiling point of water, it actually helps boil it a lot faster. It oxidizes it a little bit more, if that makes any sense. Now, we're gonna stir all that in there, and then once and for all, we're gonna take our olive oil, that sun-dried tomato olive oil that I made, and just a little bit, so that we could assist the pasta in not sticking to each other once we get it out. Now, this is going to be a tricky situation because I do not have a strainer, but I did that on purpose for a reason, okay? When I start putting the pasta in here, I'm going to put them in at stages and I'm going to stir them into this eggy, creamy mixture. So wait a minute, Chef, hold on. You didn't put no salt, you didn't put no nothing in it. It's okay, don't worry about it. Because what we're going to do with this mixture, we're going to put in just a little bit of garlic, some fresh garlic in there, and stir that baby around in there just like that, give it some nice flavor. I don't worry too much about salt with this mixture. And the reason being is because we're going to be using Parmesan cheese and we're going to be using the bacon, and that's going to provide a lot of character for the saltiness that you're going to be experiencing. Okay? Now let's go check on our water. Our water looks as though it is just about ready. I'm going to wait maybe about, whoops. There we go. I'm going to wait maybe about 2 more minutes. I think we're almost there, living on a prayer. Take my hand, we'll make it, I swear. Now, while that's going, you want to make sure you aerate your pasta a little bit. Just kind of toss that around some. Try not to break it apart, okay? And we're going to begin. We're going to take just a small portion, about yay much. Oh, that's going to be gorgeous. I'll put it in there just like that. Come on, you, don't fight me. Followed by a little bit more. Hold on. Now you could stir. When you stir, make sure you're very gentle with this, okay? You want to go around, and then when your pasta spoon reaches 12 o'clock, then you want to drag it center down, just to give it a nice breakage. And while we're doing that, we're going to toss the rest of this pasta in with the rest of the semolina flour, again, so it does not stick together. Try to handle it very lightly. Don't grab the pasta, okay, or else your good work's going to go right down the drain. Okay, I think we're ready for the second stage, and we're going to put it in, just like so. Oop, careful now. Yeah, I almost tripped over that myself already. So this one, I'm just going to go on ahead and put it to the side. Watch your feet. Okay, while that's going, once again, my fellow chefs in chef land, my fellow cooks in cook land, clean up as you go along. If you come over to the farmer's market, you'll notice I'm kind of a fanatic when it comes to that. Always clean up as you go along. Alrighty then. Now, we're going to take a look at our pasta here, and that is looking absolutely wonderful. want to make sure that gets a good breakage to it, you know, breakage meaning that it separates, that it's not going to stick together. Now, here's how we're going to be doing the pasta, okay? The internal temperature, the safe zone, if you will, should be at least about 155 degrees Fahrenheit, okay? Well, how do I know if I reach that level? Well, believe it or not, thermometers are a great way to go, but if you don't have one around, a good rule of thumb is knowing this, that if, let's leave it alone just for a second, that if you leave your pasta in the water, in the boiling hot water, for at least a good 15 minutes, and we're talking fresh pasta here, you should already be reaching that internal temperature of 155 plus. How do you know that? Well, science, guys. I mean, really, 212 degrees Fahrenheit is the equivalency of boiling water anyway, so I think you're safe, okay? I know I'm going to be receiving a lot of message and word about this. Well, you really should saute it. Well, no, not really, because I've seen it done many times when people have added a very, very hot pasta to this and stirred right away and very, very quickly. Now, what we're going to do, may I have that pasta bowl just for a moment, please? We're going to do something a little bit different and a little unexpected, so we want to stir that around. Maybe we've got about 2 more minutes to go. Now, a couple of things. How do I know when the pasta is done? You know, I have this question coming to me many, many, many times. I've heard all kinds of kooky stuff. Throw the pasta on the wall, you know, go on ahead and taste it, look east at the moon, bark 3 times and hop on 1 foot. Listen, if it's fresh pasta, as you already know, does not take that long. There is a stage in which you know when your pasta is done is known as al dente. Al dente meaning firm to the bite. And if you go back in your ancient Latin, dente meaning teeth, very firm to the bite, not mushy. Now, dry pasta, of course, that would take a little bit longer. Now that our pasta is pretty much done, I'm going to take it out little by little. And you want to be very careful because you don't want to splatter this all over the place. So we're going to take this nice hot pasta and we're going to put it right over here just like so. Ooh, and that's beautiful. And you can tell that's al dente because it still has some curliness to it. It's all one universal opaque color. It is not 2 different colors that you're pulling out. Okay, and I'm going to shut it off for right now. Okay, and because I have gloves on, it's a little easier to do it this way. Okay, oh my God. Oh, this is going to be so good. Okay. And again, guys, this is fresh French pasta, not Italian pasta. Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, so now, as our fresh pasta is already done, we're not done yet. You still have to go over with a little bit more olive oil. And as we go over with a little bit more olive oil, we're just going to toss that a little bit. And thank God for gloves, because we're going to go in just like so, and we're going to toss them in just like so. Now, as soon as you get all those out of there, I'm going to go on ahead. I'm going to need that pasta spoon just for a bit. Now, olive oils. If you ever get a chance to go out in a culinary adventure for olive oils, there's many, many different types that are out there. But I have to tell you, extra virgin olive oil, and there are many, many different types as well, is always a cool thing to get into. Now that this is smoking hot, now what I need your help with, if you can go on this side, what you're going to do, you're going to grab the pasta spoon, and as I'm putting them in, you kind of want to stir them in little by little, please. Okay, ready? All right, let's rock and roll. So my incredible wife is stirring this all around, and while she's doing that, we're going to go on ahead to the next level. We're going to take our bacon, and believe it or not, that hot pasta is already cooking the egg. Now, why don't you saute it? I find that when you have some people that do pasta, they actually end up, how shall I say this, making it very, you know, breaking the sauce or heating it up a little bit too quickly. Or many people, what they'll do is overcook it, which is a very, very common mistake. Okay, and I'm going to change gloves real quick. I'm going to step off camera, and I'm going to clean out this bowl for presentation purposes. Well, I'll just get a clean one. There we go. And as I'm getting a new pair of gloves, we're going to work on our presentation now. Now, the presentation is really very simple, okay? And where are my gloves? Holy smokes.
I'll get you some more.
Okay, all right. But let me go on ahead. Now, when you put the pasta in here, you want to go in layers. Okay, and I'm making a horrible mess right now, but that's okay. Okay, and let's see. Thank you, ma'am. I got it. I have it. You can go on ahead and start putting it in there. Put about half of it in there. Don't put the whole thing, and then we'll just go on ahead and give it a quick wipe around the sides later on. Now, while she's doing that, I want to kind of creep up behind her here and start talking about Parmesan cheese. Now, Parmesan cheese, it broke. I got it. Parmesan cheese, you can use the grated Parmesan cheese that you get in the grocery store, and that's okay. That's all right. Me, you ought to know me by now throughout the whole series. I like going the extra mile here. So what I did, that's good right there. So what I did, I had taken a block of Parmesan cheese, and we use one of the paper napkins right there. Give it, oh, whatever, give it a good wipe down there. All right. Okay. So once we have everything all the way mixed up, that looks wonderful. Thank you, ma'am. And we're going to take our pasta over here to the side. We're going to kind of center ourselves with the last touch. We're going to go on ahead. We're going to get our nice grater right here, and we're going to come across. Now, this is pecorino romano. And once you add this in with your pasta, the natural saltiness is going to come out of everything for you. So you don't have to worry about, oh, do I need salt, whatever. We're going to hit it up with just a little bit more chives and just a little bit more bacon, because I'm a bacon fanatic. And here we go, pasta carbonara, okay? My name is Chef Ramon Herrera. Once again, this is my incredible wife, Chef Terry. I thank you for your time, and I'm looking forward to having class with you again, Canton. Thank you so much.